Okay, this is the next day, and because my paint layers were so thin the day before, they're fairly dry, enough for me to keep working. Both are to the same level of finish, so now I'm going back to Glory's face. Working a little more on the form, colors, and the shadows. Fingers always work well too. Measuring here, getting back familiar with Glory's face, I've got a few ideas of what's wrong with it at this point, just by virtue of the fact that it was always there in the background when I was working on Bailey. So your eye picks up little things, and you rest with it a little while there. I'm checking some angles, seeing where the edge of the nose with the edge of the eye, what kind of an angle that is. It's not mathematical, it's strictly just holding the straight end of your brush and looking at the angle back. It's not going to be the same for you because the camera is in a different spot than my eyes are. Verticals, horizontals, diagonals. Still trying to get closer to her likeness before I pull out one of my final tools. Working on pulling that chin back into alignment where it's supposed to be. The same issue here as on Bailey's is Glory's eye the right distance away from the nose? Is it the bridge of the nose or the size of the eye? Where the nose ends or where the mouth ends? Where are the lines? Where are the drafting lines, so to speak? See how bringing that diagonal line back toward her neck under that lip made a big improvement. I don't think it's enough, but again, it could be the lower lip is not wide enough. And speaking of the drafting lines that I just mentioned earlier, I do study the portraits when I've got them on the computer monitor, and I do draw drafting lines. One of the things I used to do was draw the same drafting line, drew the same drafting lines on my canvas. And sometimes in pastels I still do that, but with oils you cover them up too quick. But it does help with a rough drawing to measure and have the same grid lines on your canvas as you do on your original print and or your computer monitor, whichever you're painting from. It's all training. Their tools are everywhere you look, there's all kinds of tools you can buy. You can grid from a small photograph and draw 1/4 inch lines, horizontal, vertical, and then onto your canvas you can draw 1-inch lines, horizontal and vertical, and you measure from your smaller photo times 4, make the mark on your canvas. So there are all kinds of tools that are used. The old masters used them. They used projection cameras called the camera obscura. They used big frames with grids that were done in string. They would move this panel with the strings tied horizontal and vertical in front of the model, and then they would make the same lines on their canvas. Lots and lots of tools, and I think that they're all there for a purpose, and they're all there to be used until you have trained yourself, and then you don't need them anymore. And for a break, I'm going in and painting a little bit on Glory's hairpiece. Her sister made it for her, sent it to her from Puerto Rico, where she's from. And the photograph is not real distinct because of what I had to do to make her make her face be part of the background I was working on. So when I knocked out the background, I didn't need that to be very visual because it's just the illusion of netting that I'm painting right now, and it works great for giving the illusion of what she was really wearing, because net is an illusion. So I'm painting it as an illusion, and it's not the star of the show. So it's there. Her sister and everyone that was there will know what it is. I am changing colors. The net on toward the light is whiter, and the net as it curves back is a little more bluish grayish color. Dancing around a little bit here, putting the net down over her face. It may or may not stay there because I'll have to go back in and rework that head some and the hair. Using a small square brush, a flat, and just letting it skip. This is a flower, looks like some kind of a little metal flower. And it too curves, convex. So it curves to the outside and back to the center. And so I have to change the colors of my paint to reflect that. See, I'm in a little bit darker tone there as it curves back in toward the center. And that gives the flower dimensionality. This is the way I wish I could paint portraits, where you just know where you're going, you know how you're going to get there, and it's over before you even realize it. The little flower and the veil I'm tremendously pleased with. And again, you can't look at the photograph on the left because that's been mangled in Photoshop. Gloria's in the Air Force, and Bailey just finished college with a criminal justice degree. They both run marathons and do basic training and all that sort of stuff. And this wasn't Bailey's wedding day picture. I had her grandmother Susan take it for me. Oh, I don't know, a month or so after I started painting this picture. And Bailey looks really, really tired. But I would too if I had their schedule. So it's my job as an artist is to make her look like it's on her wedding day when actually she'd probably been out doing basic training all day. This is a real good, look at how that hair is so heavy when I put it on, and then come back with a cloth and wipe it back a little bit, because where the hair starts and the skin ends is always kind of a softish, it's not really hair, it's not really skin. They blend together, which forms almost a halo look. And again, it's a push-pull. Add some more flash back. Pull some more of the dark in. And I'm still working with a large brush here. Add it and take it away. Gradually it starts to look like a real hairline. I pull my picture off because I'm wanting to go back in and resolve some of the background, adding a little bit of thicker paint. I don't want it to look like Bird Poop Island, but I kind of like to look a little bit like water cascading over, I don't know, whatever it cascades over in the ocean. Piers and stuff. And the castle in the sky was just kind of something that appeared and I went with it. That was, of course, where I took my title. Again, that's not the focus of the painting, so I keep it very soft and blurred. After another drawing session and a few weeks to let the painting rest and give me a rest from working on it, we'll come back with a next to the final process.